naturopathic medical school. There are currently 6 accredited naturopathic medical schools in North America. I matriculated at Bastyr University in Seattle, Washington, graduated in 1991. So 4 years pre-med, 4 years naturopathic medical school, which includes about 1,000 hours of clinical supervision. Then you have to graduate, of course. Then you have to pass national boards. Then you have to pass state boards. You have to secure a license to practice naturopathic medicine. I'm currently licensed by the great state of Minnesota to practice naturopathic medicine. And then 25 hours of continuing education credit every year, more or less. That's what you have to do in order to become a licensed naturopathic doctor in the United States. Currently, 25 states only in the United States license and regulate this profession, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. This means that apparently the laws of nature and the laws of science and the laws of physics change when you cross a state line, right? That's the only logical explanation, that naturopathic medicine is quackery in North Dakota, but it's perfectly fine in Washington State. It's perfectly fine in California, but it's quackery in Nevada. It's perfectly fine in Massachusetts, but it's quackery in Rhode Island. It's perfectly fine in Minnesota, but it's quackery in Illinois. It's nonsense. This is not a scientific conversation. It has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with politics. And this opens up a much greater can of worms which most people are completely unaware of, and which is the bane of our existence today, that for the last 100 years, we have not had a free medical market. We have not. Medicine has been controlled by the American Medical Association and the pharmaceutical industries for the last 100 years. In the early 1920s, Congress gave the American Medical Association exclusive control over who could become a doctor and who couldn't become a doctor. The AMA was given control, complete control. You know, that's like giving Coca-Cola complete control over who gets to make a soft drink and deliver it in the United States. It's nonsense, but that's what happened in the early 1900s, and most people who were around at that time are, well, they're dead. And so people coming up now into the last few generations, all they know is the only medicine practiced at my hospital, the only medicine practiced taught in my university, the only medicine that my insurance pays for, the only medicine that they do research on, and the only medicine that they make TV shows about is MD-directed medicine. Therefore, the MDs are the king. They're the best at what they do. They're better than everybody else, and we should all genuflect at their altar. And everybody else besides the MD practices back-of-the-bus quackery. Dangerous. That's how we've been socialized, and it's a lie. It's not only a lie, it's a bald-faced lie. MDs don't practice medicine. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person that God ever created, but they don't practice medicine. They practice allopathic medicine, which is a very unique system of medicine. There are many different types of medicine in the world. Allopathic medicine, chiropractic medicine, naturopathic medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbalism, etc., etc., etc. But the only medicine that you know anything about is MD-directed medicine. And MD-directed medicine is really good for surgery. It's really good for trauma care. And it's partially good for infectious disease. But for everything else, MD-directed medicine is a failed methodology. It doesn't work. Well, it works, but it doesn't cure. Your medical doctor doesn't even know how to cure heartburn. They can manage it. They don't know how to cure arthritis. They can manage it. They don't know how to cure heart disease. They can manage it. They don't know how to cure anything. And while we have given them exclusive control over the development and the delivery of medicine, chronic illnesses are escalating. Everything's getting worse. We're all getting sicker. We're not getting healthier. And that's because MD-directed, allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical centrist medicine is a one-trick pony. And the only reason that these people still have jobs in the face of their abject failures is because of the monopoly. It's good to be the king. For goodness sakes, we all need to collectively pull our heads out of the sand and take a good look around. Look at it this way. While you have been paying exorbitant amounts of money every month for your medical insurance in the United States, or they've been taking it out of your paycheck in Canada, socialized medicine, you got sick. While you were under the care of the medical doctors, while you were paying for medical insurance and going for your checkups, you got arthritis, you became obese, your kids were born autistic, your parents got Alzheimer's disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes. You got sick while you were under their care, while you were on their watch. Whose fault is it? It's got to be somebody's fault. It's their fault. You got sick while you were under their care, and it's not because they're mean-spirited or sadistic people. It's because the type of medicine that they're trained in is inconsistent with the reality of the human experience. Their medicine is the wrong dog for the hunt, as is evidenced by their abject failures. Now look, if you have a bullet in your arm, heaven forbid, a broken bone, you have a bleeding artery, they'll save your life, and that's what they're good at. I mean, we wouldn't go to a chiropractor for open heart surgery. You wouldn't go to a dentist to have a wound sewn up. Well, nor should you go to an MD for anything but an acute trauma. If you bring your body to the office of a medical doctor, an MD, and you're suffering with a chronic disease, they're not going to be able to help you. Or if they do help you, it will only be symptom management. It will not be a cure. It will not be a cure. Which is why there should be a law which states that hospitals and MDs who practice, they have a private practice or they work at hospitals, it should be illegal for them to advertise that they practice healthcare, because they do not. They practice disease management. And there's a big difference between healthcare and disease management. With healthcare, you get healthier. With disease management, well, your disease is managed. So the heartburn isn't cured, it's managed. The blood pressure isn't cured, it's managed. The arthritis isn't cured, it's managed. And then you get a second knee, and then a third knee, and then a fourth knee because the ones before it failed, etc., etc., etc. This is the best money, best medicine that money can buy? I don't think so. It's a monopoly, and it's a problem, because it's the only thing that most people in the United States have access to, and most people can't even pronounce naturopathy, let alone know what it is or what it does. And to add insult to injury, there are diploma mills, a couple of businesses in the United States, they're non-academically accredited, that offer online degrees in naturopathic medicine. Isn't that just great? Well, I don't think so. We need education. You need to know these distinctions. You need to know what the MDs are good at. You need to know what the MDs are bad at. You need to know what the naturopaths are good at, what the naturopaths are bad at. You need to know what the acupuncturists are good at, what the acupuncturists are bad at. But you have no idea, because all that you know, all that you've been socialized to understand is MD, 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 MD. We genuflect at that altar, even though MD-directed medicine is the leading cause of death and the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. And I'd like to ask you this question, young Jedi. How many people do you know in your own sphere of influence, your world, your family, your church, your workplace, somebody in your personal life that has developed cancer? How many people? And how many of them are still alive? And if they are still alive, has it been 5 years since their original diagnosis? And how are they doing under their cancer treatment? Cancer treatment doesn't work. American Cancer Society knows this. This is why they stopped even considering the word cure. Now they just talk about 5-year survivorship. Oh, isn't that great? So you have cancer, you get conventional cancer treatment, you die 5 years and 1 day after the cancer treatment, and it goes into the books as a successful treatment. Isn't that great? No, it's nonsense. And there are very few of us who are standing up and saying it, and I'm one of them. Look, you're welcome to your own opinion, but you most certainly are not welcome to your own set of facts, which is why yesterday I formally removed myself from membership with the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians. I guess the autumn of 2017 will be the season of lamentation for me. I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm taking a stand, stronger stand than I've taken before. I'm no longer going to give money to the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians because they support and are supported by the Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And in this doctor's opinion, this naturopathic physician's opinion, 29 years of clinical experience, I'm here to tell you that using naturopathic treatments to mitigate the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation is not naturopathic medicine. It's not. And doctors that do that should be ashamed, in my opinion. But there is a rift in the naturopathic community between people who consider themselves grounded in naturopathic philosophy and naturopathic treatment, and naturopathic doctors who are mixing MD medicine and naturopathic medicine, and this is the new hybrid naturopathic medicine. This is the future of naturopathic medicine, and it's not. It's nonsense. I have a colleague in Connecticut who was the first president of the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians and is a naturopathic physician through and through. And he started to mentor naturopathic students who were coming out of naturopathic medical school in the last, 5 or 6 years, teaching them naturopathic therapeutics because they weren't taught them in naturopathic medical school. He started with 2, now he has over 400, and it was all word of mouth. Which means that, what's the only logical conclusion here is that the naturopathic profession is in search of itself, and it's divided right now between people who practice and espouse holistic naturopathic therapeutics and holistic naturopathic treatments, and people who are trying to hybridize holistic naturopathic philosophy and treatments with allopathic reductionistic philosophy and treatments. And these two worlds are irreconcilable. You can't have it both ways. You just can't. And it amazes me that people are even trying. I think that people are trying to do this because they've had poor success with their own style and brand of naturopathic treatments, and so they default to the allopathic treatment because their treatments just haven't been effective. And rather than try to learn more, go to their colleagues to learn about more effective naturopathic treatments, they just go to the MDs. That's the only thing I can... I don't know why this is happening, but it's happening. So I'm taking a stand, and now I've made it public. And I'm probably going to get a lot of flack from my colleagues, but I really don't care. I am no longer supporting the American Association of Naturopathic Physicians because they have lost their way, in this doctor's opinion. Now, interestingly enough, ladies and gentlemen, in order to secure your health, to help your body recover its health, to help your body fix itself, to help your body get into the game of healing, you don't need a private appointment. Some people do. Some people do need a private appointment with a naturopathic doctor. But most people don't. Look, we doubled life expectancy in this country in the last 120 years by cleaning up the water and having public sanitation, teaching people not to pee upstream and drink downstream, imagine that, and subsidizing farmers so they could make food that everybody could eat. It wasn't with antibiotics, and it wasn't because of more doctors and more insurance. It was because of these two things. Well, the next thing for us to do in order to get to the next level of health is education. It's simple. You need to learn what foods are bad for you to eat and what foods are good for you to eat. You need to adopt that discipline. It's not difficult. But who have you been listening to tell you what food is good and what food is bad for the last 100 years? The people that make the food. And the medical doctors who have no training, no experience, no appreciation, and no respect for medical nutrition. Oh yeah, let's ask those guys. Going to a medical doctor for advice about medical nutrition is like, going to a chiropractor for, a dental extraction. They both work with bones. Chiropractor works with bones. Tooth is a bone. Why wouldn't you go to him? Because it's common sense. It's not their wheelhouse. Well, the wheelhouse of the medical doctor has nothing to do with food and has nothing to do with vitamins. Dr. Oz is the last person you should listen to for advice about anything outside of cardiac surgery because that's his wheelhouse. But that's not the way it is in the politically correct, ridiculous, everybody gets a medal culture that we have devolved into. For goodness sakes. It's a travesty of biblical proportions, but I digress. So, in order for you to get your body into the game of healing, the first thing for you to do is educate yourself. And if you're smart enough to learn how to pass the driver's license test, then you're smart enough to figure this stuff out because it's not rocket science. 12 foods that you shouldn't even look at, let alone eat. You can get that list for free on my website, glidden.healthcare, right there, glidden.healthcare. Go to the Learn page. It's free. 12 bad foods you shouldn't even look at, let alone eat, brought to you by a licensed naturopathic physician with over 29 years of clinical experience. Well, that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Number 2, you must nutrify your body. There are essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids that your body needs in order to function optimally. But those nutrients are not all in your food. Some of them are, most of them are not. If you are not supplementing with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, your body is nutritionally deficient, and in this doctor's opinion, it is only a matter of time until something breaks. And then you go to a medical doctor, and they throw a drug at it, the intention of which is not to fix the problem, but to manage it. Meanwhile, the problem that caused it, which was nutrient deficiencies, continues and persists. And while you take the drug, as the drug is metabolized in your body, it burns through vitamins and minerals. So after a while, your condition gets worse and the drug stops working, and so the dose needs to be increased, or you need a second or a third or a fourth drug, and then you die. And then your family members are so grief-stricken that they organize a 5K run on your behalf, and they raise $50,000 and they give it to the medical profession under whose care you got sick and died in the first place. You got to be kidding me. This is the world that we live in. And it is a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Because there are very few licensed physicians who actually have a clue and can help to give you a heads up. And you're looking at one of them right now. So I encourage you to go to my website and educate yourself about the simple steps that you can take right now to get your body into the game of healing with education. Simple education. By the way, you might be watching this and thinking, oh, Dr. Glidden, he's just trying to get you to buy a vitamin. Well, I am trying to get you to buy vitamins, but I don't make any money from the sale of those vitamins. I don't have any skin in that game. So what's my motivation? I'll tell you what my motivation is. I took a vow on June, what was the date? June 22nd, 1991, probably at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific time. I took a vow to become a naturopathic physician and to educate people as much as was humanly possible, to eliminate human suffering as much as is humanly possible. You need education. You're not going to get it from Dr. Oz. You're not going to get it from conventionally trained medical doctors. Those people can tell you what type of suture material to use and what type of anesthetic to use and how to do a surgical procedure so you don't get a secondary infection. They're good at that most of the time. But for everything else, they are the wrong dog for the hunt. And don't think so? Well, look, how are you feeling? How's your energy? How's your mood? How's your sleep? You sleeping through the night? You good? You got sick while you were under their care, and you write them another check every month. You're nuts. Well, you're not nuts. You're well-intended. You have a conscience. You want to take care of yourself. You want to take care of your family. But you're giving your money to the wrong group of people. You are. For goodness sakes, let's all snap out of it and lift each other up as much as is humanly possible. Glidden Healthcare. Go there. Learn as much as you can about the simple steps that you need to get your body into the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified, naturopathic, real naturopathic medicine. I am your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks for your time and your trust. God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll see you around campus.